Welcome back to Rocket Talk Mini, our side podcast where we can kind of spend more time talking on a single topic or two. For episode 3, we are going to be doing the PS5 reveal stream that happened this past week. Similar to the Xbox, that's one we had for episode 1. This one we're kind of just be going over our overall thoughts and what games stood out to us the most. So, for those who are unaware, Sony did have a PlayStation 5 reveal stream on Thursday, the 11th of June, and it revealed a lot about the PS5. We got a bunch of new games announced, a bunch of more details on when some of these are coming, and then we got our first look at the console and some of the accessories. So moving on first, just to what were your guys' overall thoughts on the event as a whole before we kind of dive into all of the games that were announced?
I thought it got me super hyped up. I'm an Xbox guy, but I really loved what we saw, and I thought I like how they know the difference between trailers and gameplay, unlike Xbox. And so, yeah, it got me super hyped up. Everything looks gorgeous.
John?
Yeah, I'm exactly in the same boat. I'm this is going to be my first non-Nintendo console that I'm going to buy, and I was on the fence on whether I wanted to get it or not. But after seeing this, I'm sold. I'm definitely getting the PlayStation 5 when it comes out.
Yeah, so how would you then compare it to the Xbox One a couple weeks ago? I know Connor made a little joke there, but we had a similar event a few weeks ago where Xbox showed some of the games that will be coming to the Series X and to other consoles as well, but that one was more trailer focused, where this one was more mixed. So what were your guys' thoughts then comparing the two?
I think that this one was far superior when it comes to showing all the content that was in it, and it was like you said, it was different. There were trailers, there was a lot of gameplay, there was a lot of news, and there was a lot of but there was definitely mixed. It was a mixed bag of different things you could get. Whereas the Xbox, it wasn't a lot of information that you got from it. So I think that PlayStation definitely beat the Xbox as far as revealing their new console and what it's capable of.
Personally, I mean, I thought they were quite similar. It's just, Xbox promised in the title more gameplay than what we actually got. It was just a bunch of trailers, but they also they had the reveal of what the games looked like, and then they had people introducing the next one, or like what we're about to see, or explaining what we saw. PlayStation did a very similar thing, but because Xbox didn't actually have much gameplay at all, I was rather disappointed. So if Xbox would have been a little bit more honest, I would have said they're right next to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then another one too is that because Microsoft did it where they were only doing third-party stuff, they didn't have any. We saw nothing for Halo, Gears of War, Forza, any of that. Where this one, it was all types of games. So we did get to see some of the first-party Sony games that we'll get into in a second that got announced, which was a little bit different there. So we can move on to kind of discussing what games were revealed. The first game that was revealed was Grand Theft Auto 5. So Grand Theft Auto 5 is getting an expanded and enhanced port to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in quarter 3 or quarter 4 2021. We don't know exactly yet. And then on top of that, PlayStation 4 owners who will be able to get some bonuses for GTA 5 on the PS4 until the enhanced version comes out. But it's funny that we're now getting another version of a game that will be 7 years old in September. Will Rockstar ever stop milking the hell out of it? But that's a safe way. I wouldn't have personally started with GTA 5 as big as that game is. That's an easy, safe way to kick it off because it's one of the most successful games of all time. And I'm happy that I'll get a free $1 million for about a year, maybe even more on that because I just own the game. But yawn, kind of a little bit of a yawner to start that to kind of kick it off. But I know you guys haven't played as much GTA, but yeah, what are your thoughts on the first reveal?
Exactly the same as yours. It is pretty safe. I own GTA 5. I've never finished it. I actually kind of got over it pretty quickly, but it is, like a lot of people are going to be super happy about it, and it is quite safe.
And it's made Rockstar so much money from GTA Online, so it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never even played it before, but everyone, it's such a big game, and so I'm looking forward to getting the chance to play it. It's one of those games that you might be surprised that I'm kind of intrigued by just learning a little bit more about it, even though I'm like the Mario and Zelda and Banjo guy.
I mean, it's fun just to go drive a car on GTA and just like run into someone like
Yes.
I don't.
That's fun for anybody.
Exactly, and like I was playing it online like a week ago with Blake and some other friends, and at one point we were just sitting on a street and we all had our launchers and big guns out. And we were just like causing mayhem just for fun.
My wife plays it a lot, and she only likes to kick over trash cans. That's like she spent when I introduced her to
What
the
a rebel.
game several years ago. She spent like 15 minutes going around finding trash cans to kick over, and then the single greatest pimp slap I have ever seen in a video game ever. She just went up to some random pedestrian on the street, pimp slapped the shit out of her, and then ran away. And then she started going and just slapping everyone she could find.
That's what you
Yeah,
do.
I have a machete and I'll go around sometimes too and just go in first person and just see that and other random stuff. But yeah, it cool. Like I like GTA 5. I've played a lot of time into it, so cool. I mean, like, can you put out GTA 6 instead? But I mean, I'll take an enhanced port of a 8-year-old game at the point that it comes out. But yeah, whatever. The first actual new thing we got announced though right after that, which crazy way to actually start it off, was Spider-Man Miles Morales. So it is going to be a sequel to Spider-Man. And the weird thing has been we did not know when it was announced. What is this, a sequel? Is this a expansion? What is going on with this? And so it's going to be a new standalone title according to Insomniac, the developer. But since it's coming out it's only come out about 2 years after the original, and as like an early title for the PS5. What I wonder is if it's actually going to be it's a standalone sequel, so it's part of it's part of the Spider-Man like gaming universe, and it's a continuation, but it's not a proper full-length sequel. It'll be a standalone game, kind of similar to what Uncharted did. There's a expansion to Uncharted 4 called Lost Legacy that it's it's like side characters from the game, that it's their story, and it's a shorter game compared to what the original is. So we're going to see Miles Morales in it instead of Peter Parker, and I am so excited for this because the Spider-Man PS4 game is amazing. It's one of the best games on the PS4, and having a continuation of it that can take advantage of the better tech, it's going to be awesome.
It looked amazing, and I'm very excited. I actually was really seriously considering, oh man, do I need a PS5? Because that looks awesome. Because like one of the Spider-Man game was what really like seriously made me consider like dropping everything and buying it, and then becoming a PS nerd.
Yeah, well, you should get it because it's really good. And they actually, Insomniac just tweeted out a photo about a half hour ago where it's showing that it's going to be, looks like in the wintertime because there's like some snow on the ground.
I'm looking forward to it. I never played the Spider-Man game on PS4, but I'm looking forward to this one because it looks. I mean, now that with all the new games that are coming out in the PlayStation, it's like PlayStation 5. It's like now I can finally get hyped with everybody else because these are games that I could realistically buy. And seeing how impressive Miles Morales game looks, I'm looking forward to it. I'm almost certainly going to buy it myself.
Yeah, for sure. And so they just continued the big release with right after they announced Gran Turismo 7 to continue the racing sim series. And what's funny about it is so the only Gran Turismo game on the PS4 came out 3 years ago, Gran Turismo Sport, and it's supposed to be kind of like the start of a new age of Gran Turismo. It's kind of like what like the developers are saying, where it was going to be like the new era of it. And then they were like, nah, never mind. We'll go back to having numbered entries. So this is probably going to be for a huge chunk of the PS5's life is going to be like one of the prettiest looking games on it, because like each Gran Turismo game has always been like some of the prettiest ones that have come out on a PlayStation. So I'm sure this is going to be no exception. And like just like you could tell that they listened to people getting mad about the lack of gameplay in the Xbox One, and they're like, "Hey, you want gameplay? Here's some gameplay."
But yeah, I'm kind of looking at that right now. Holy crap, do those cars look sexy?
Yeah, it's
the smoothest.
Like I said, this is like I said, like we'll probably be looking like, you know, in 6-7 years when we're looking forward to the PS6, and we'll be talking about, you know, what are some of the games that look just downright amazing and like push the PS5 to its limits. It's gonna be that. Like I remember when Gran Turismo 4 came out on the PS2, and some of the stuff that like looked as photorealistic as it did on that, and then just seeing like what we're at now. So yeah, it's gonna look beautiful. But Johnny, you have anything else you want to add on Gran Turismo 7?
You know, even as somebody that's not big into racing games, this definitely got me into, you know, got me excited and a little bit more interested in learning more about it. There was a game that was similar to this on the Xbox reveal, and I don't remember what it was, but it was
Dirt.
It was Dirt. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, Dirt. And it's kind of like that it reminds me of like, you know, or it interests me into something that I may not have otherwise been interested in. But that's just kind of the whole hype, and it's the time of the year. It's nerd season right now with, you know, an E3 replacement. So seeing all this stuff that I will have the chance to get myself in the future is just kind of has me wanting to get all of it. So
yeah, for sure.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks incredible. So then the next game, we had 3 first-party reveals in a row. We had a second Insomniac reveal. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was announced. So a new game in the Ratchet & Clank series, built from the ground up for the PS5, and oh boy, what a beautiful looking game again with this one. So what I think has been missed, on top of just how like pretty the game looks, and the whole like idea with the story about it being like the different like the different rift and all that, is how fast it's gonna load. So you see at one point where, like, when they showed some gameplay where they jump from planet to planet and it's instant, and that's just showing just how powerful the PS5's like quick loading screen is, because like I just went and pulled it up, and from when he's on one planet to the other, you jump there in under 2 seconds, where the PS4 on the PS4 that'd probably be like he'd be in that rift for 10 seconds. And so just the fact to see something like that where you can jump in and out just shows just how powerful it's going to be. I'm super excited about this. Or just like when you see Clank, if you like, just the reflections on his body,
the ray tracing, yeah, it's just gorgeous. But I think like this is the future of gaming, is like with zero loading time whatsoever. And I think like they were talking about like with the Xbox, like you can, it's like quick pause and quick start or something like that, if you guys
quick
remember.
Resume and all that too, so you can go back to it. But yeah, it's because when they were first revealing stuff about the PS4, one of the big things that they were showing was the quicker load times. And so they would use Spider-Man and show that the fast travel went from about 10 seconds if you sit on the subway to basically instantaneous, to skip ahead to different sections of New York. But yeah, this one, out of all of them, Spider-Man out of the first reveals were the ones that had me the most hyped, but this one was a close second, because while I've never put as much time as I would like in the Ratchet & Clank series, I've definitely loved them a lot. Like they're all a ton of fun with how they mix the platforming and puzzle elements with the third-person shooter elements, and just some of the goofy weapons it has and the goofy storylines. It's a wonderful game, and this looks like it'll be, you know, just as good as the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
There were at least four Ratchet and Clank games that were on the PS2, and we had a PS2 in my family, and I had Ratchet and Clank 1, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlocked, and all of them were fantastic, and I've always been since then. I mean, I've been a big fan of Ratchet and Clank series, and so like seeing this as there's been a few games since then that were out on. I believe it was a PS3.
Yeah,
But
they had a few. They did like a spin-off, like Ratchet and Clank Future series. So
yeah,
like it
there was
continued
a
them,
yeah.
and then they did a reboot, like a reimagining of the first game to coincide with the film that was coming out of the same name,
Yep.
and so it was a remake built from the ground up of one, but they added some new mechanics, some characters that were introduced like more in the later games were in that, and so yeah, this will be the first true original like new like non-future saga reimagining or
Yeah.
spin-off since Deadlocked.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it because I mean this will be great to hopefully. I mean, I really want to get back into the series and I want to see more of the story with some of the games that come out a few years from now. So I'm hoping that I mean with how this looks, it just looks so great. With I mean there's so many new weapons and the graphics look fantastic, and even like Clank, he just looks so shiny, and I love seeing like all of the the animation that is in here just looks so like it just looks so nice and fluid, and like they even make explosions look beautiful. So it's just I'm looking forward to this. Might be my number one most hyped game from the hour 14-minute trailer. It's been like this is what I wanted, a Ratchet and Clank game, and this is everything that I think you're getting. So everything that I wanted.
Yep. Yeah, and so then after that, we started moving on. Wait, Connor, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope. I've never
So then
played
moving on,
Ratchet
then they are a ton of fun. Moving on then to the another reveal we had was Project Athela or Athela.
Athia.
It's a Athia. It's a Square Enix game exclusive to the PlayStation. It's gonna be some sort of fantasy game of sorts by Square. I was a little surprised to see them just kind of showing a new IP. I get that like Square Enix can show anything, and like they have fans that'll buy like just about anything they do. But I was surprised to see them go and show a completely new IP when they could show Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or just anything else. But it looks like a fantasy game that will be on the PS5 that looks pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have much else I can say besides the fact that it looks like a Square Enix fantasy game.
Yeah, definitely not like the sort of game I would normally pick up, but it looked cool, looked badass, and I don't know if I would buy it, but if like a friend of mine like said, "Hey, come over, let's play this," I would be down. It looks really cool. That's all I really have to say as well.
Yeah, that's it.
John.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to it so much, but I'll be interested in seeing what happens. If there's any more information on it in the future, I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled for it. But it's not something that's got me too hyped at the moment.
Yeah. After that, we just another one to show how much we have evolved in technology for animations. Stray was the next game announced. It looks like a neo future cat simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's just crazy just like how realistic the fur looks on those kitties. But I guess you can be a little kidder in a game, so we gotta wait till 2021 for that one. But I mean, like, we know nothing about this game besides the cats being in there. But hey,
It honestly, like,
cute.
I really want this game. It looked like it didn't tell us anything about that. We have so little information about it, but I don't know why. Like, I really want it.
I'm sold. So I'm sold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does look like a ton of fun. So it'll be one to see what does come with it. But and then we got a little bit of a preview of a little more of the preview of the DualSense, just kind of showing what it can do between that and the next reveal, which was Returnal. It looks like just a really trippy sci-fi thriller. What were your guys' thoughts then on Returnal?
I thought this looked kind of cool. I'm not about a lot of like space games or even space movies, but there's something about this that just looked really cool. This was the one that was all about like dying and coming back, right?
Yeah, kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of like the Edge of Tomorrow type of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's a really cool concept to put into a video game. So I'm definitely interested in seeing, how time can change, each time you die, and how like what exactly do you need to make different choices, or is it, what exactly are the choices that you need to make? So I'm excited just to see what happens and how that
Yeah,
gameplay works.
yeah, it was one that like I wasn't fully sold on like I'm buying this game day one type of thing, but it's definitely one that it does really interest me because I want to see what is going to come from it as we get more and more. Well, especially it's crazy because like this is nothing like the games that this developer has done because it is a first party developer. It's House Marquee for Sony, and they've done a lot of stuff like Resogun, which is a side-scrolling like shooter beat 'em up type of game, shoot 'em up game that kind of reminds me a lot of like a something like you would see on like an arcade game, or Resogun, or Dead Nation, which is a top-down shoot 'em up game, and so like a third-person shooter, definitely is not their usual cup of tea, but it does look interesting, and I'm interested to see what does come with this one. But it's one that maybe I'll get it, but I'm not. It's after some of the other games where it's like these are day one purchases, or these are, I'm getting this the following birthday or Christmas. This one's this looks interesting. Let me keep my eyes out on it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably want to watch some Let's Plays on YouTube of it. I want to watch some gameplay. I don't know if I would buy something like this, but if it's like you said, if it's something that it's getting great reviews and seems to be gaining some traction, I'd probably get it.
Yeah. The next reveal was one that had me very excited. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. It's a spin-off from the Little Big Planet series. That's one that I didn't talk about as much in some of these previous episodes, but I love the Little Big Planet games. They are just a really fun puzzle platformer with a big emphasis on creating, and so the character you play as is a little sack person, Sackboy, and you can change his appearance by putting on different costumes and all that, and so it's fun to see a spin-off come from it. So instead of being a 2.5D platformer, this looks to be a full 3D type of platformer. So I don't know, is it going to be more of a collectathon, like more of like a Banjo type of game, or is it going to be more of like a Mario 3D world where it's you get from A to B, but you have a 3D space? So it looks like it's going to be a PS5 version of a Mario 3D World, though, maybe. So that does look like a ton of fun. It's made by Sumo Digital, who did the third Little Big Planet, and they also have done the Sonic and All Stars, and Team Sonic racing games. So like they've done some good games in the past, and they've helped out with some assistance on other good games as well. So like they know what they're doing, and if this game can capture the magic of the Little Big Planet games as well, this will also be a pretty early purchase for me, whether it's a day one or within the first few months of releasing. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, same for me. I'm it like you said. I think it's more of a Super Mario 3D World than like a Banjo Kazooie, but it's definitely something that, with it being multiplayer, it's going to be, a lot of fun. I think what draws a lot of the hype in for me is these kind of games. I feel are definitely best when you play them with other people. Because it's when it's point A to point B, there's a lot less like a checklist you need to like follow, and with that brings in a lot of like fun and crazy antics that you can do with your friends that are playing with you, and so with that being playable. I like that they showed a lot of it first. The first half of the trailer is one person, and then they surprised you with having multiple players in it halfway through to show you, oh, and yes, that's not all. We've also got this. And I think that was a great idea because the multiplayer is what sold it for me the most. I don't think I would be getting this if it was one player, but since I can play it with friends, that's definitely a large selling point for me.
Yeah,
The
maybe
game
we'll
looks
have to get it
beautiful.
and play it together.
Absolutely. The game looks beautiful and a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, I think this will probably be a day one purchase for me as well.
What I hope too is that any Little Big Planet DLC purchase you have, you'll be able to transfer over to the costumes because they've had a bunch of licensing packs. Like you can be Sonic, you can be Buzz Lightyear, you can be like Cole from Infamous. There's a bunch of different things. You can be some Muppets characters and all that. So it'd be fun if they allow you to pull from the Little Big Planet costumes as well, because then I can play as like Sonic and all the other fun costumes that I have in that game as well. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one.
It
For
looks
sure.
like a lot of fun with friends. This is not something that I would necessarily buy, but I know that Johnny's probably going to get it, or I have so many friends who like these kinds of platformer games that I don't have to worry about purchasing because I know I eventually am going to play it. But I am going to have a good time with something like this.
Yeah. And then after that, we had Destruction All Stars. And honestly, this game looked like Fortnite and Rocket League
Yes.
had a baby, basically. Like it looked like it looked like it was a destruction derby type of battle royale. So it looks cool. This was one that like I like cool, but just like the Square Enix game and Returnal, like it piqued interest a little bit, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need this type of thing.
I have no interest in this game whatsoever.
Yeah, I think this is. It's definitely not my kind of game, but it looks like it's a lot of fun for like as if you're like somebody that loves mindless destruction, which isn't really my thing. But like I think that it might be a kind of game I'd like to watch and like see played like online or even in person. But it's not something I'm gonna drop money on.
Yeah. Yeah, this kind of started a little bit of a lull for me personally, or the next couple of announcements, I'm just like, whatever.
Yes.
Because the next one was Kenna Bridge of Spirits. It's a third person, just like action adventure. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen a game like this before, type of thing, like with these weird, cute little animals and magic and whatever. Like, you could tell me that this was a game from 2012 and I would be like, oh yeah, like I feel like I've seen this game 10 times now over the last 6 or 7 years. But I'm sure there'll be something nice about it and it'll be a decent game. But this was a kind of a start of another, just like
Yeah,
I don't really know.
Also not for me, but it sure did look pretty though.
Yeah, the art style was pretty. It looked more like a movie art style type of thing, like similar to what you see in like a DreamWorks movie or a Pixar movie. But
Yes.
Yeah, I have the same feedback from as you guys. Like it looks pretty, but I'm not totally interested. So it is something that I feel like I've seen a million times before too.
yeah. The next one then that was announced, continuing the lull for me, was Goodbye Volcano High. It is like an animated, like a narrative-driven game with anthropomorphic animals, and so it's going to be it's just going to be about like these different characters going through the end of high school, and so I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of the same tropes that you have of just growing up and being at the end of your high school days. But yeah, I know that that it's gonna have some LGBT themes in it, and it's gonna have a lot of stuff to kind of make, maybe like it'll go after a crowd that maybe not be as much of big gamers or ones that want to see that inclusion, which is nice. But like, I don't know. What are you gonna say, Johnny?
If this game is a little bit more on the mature side, I think that might be something that interests me. But if it's a like kind of like a dating simulator light, then definitely not. If there's like a really dark story and that because I mean high school stories can get pretty dark, and so if it's on the more dark side, I'd definitely be wanting to learn a little bit more about it. But if it's just kind of something about like, oh, this is the drama I'm getting into, then I'm not really, I watch TV for that. I don't need that really in video games. So,
Yeah. The actor who is Theo in the Sabrina Netflix series is going to be a character in it as well. That's going to play a non-binary character, and like that was like one of the big
super cool.
reveals that come out.
Oh,
But
interesting.
like, so it's like that's cool that we're getting the inclusion because they're actually the protagonist Fang. But like besides that, it's like it's like this would like it was another one that's just like kind of a weird thing to have in the middle of the presentation. Like it was definitely one that didn't pique my interest, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's gonna love this, and like that's great for them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So after that, then we next had Oddworld Soulstorm, a new Oddworld game. I've never played the Oddworld series. I do know there's people that are pretty excited about that one. Another one where like visually it looks pretty stunning, especially the scene where there was like that like bomb going off on the train or whatever it was, and then the fire looks really pretty. But I'm not an Oddworld guy. If someone who has played Oddworld, that might have been like one of the big things that really stood out to them. But
I also have not played it. It did look cool, but I'm not sure it would be something. It doesn't look like the kind of game that would make me want to commit to the series. But then again, I don't know what it has to offer. But I wasn't sold on the trailer, so I'm probably not going to look further into it.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of Oddworld before, but seeing this, I don't know. I'm on the fence. There's a chance that I'll learn more and be interested in the future, but I would definitely need to know more about it before I decide to pick it up. I'm not entirely sold yet. The characters, they kind of freak me out a little bit, so that's a little bit something that would be kind of a deter from me from getting it. But we'll see. I don't know.
yeah, it's gonna be the first Oddworld game in quite a while because there was one called New and Tasty that came out in 2014 on like PlayStation and then Xbox and Wii U and all that. But and then before that, there had one was in like 2005. So it was a big series in the late 90s, early 2000s, and so it'll be. I'm sure some Oddworld fans are very excited about this coming back. But it was like, after that, we had another trippy one with Ghostwire Tokyo. It's a very supernatural looking type of game with a lot of weird stuff. I actually missed part of this trailer when I was going on because I was coming home from work and I went into a dead zone, so I lost a good chunk of the video from it. But this game, another one that I don't know much about it. It looks interesting though, that's for sure.
Yes, that's. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but like the trailer was so interesting. It has me intrigued enough to want to look into it more. I'm not fully sold on buying it yet, but I mean it does look like it could potentially be worth my time, and so I'd at least look into this a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks freaky, and I don't know really what it is that I'm watching, so I'm interested. We'll see. It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
but
and I think that's a big thing for one that like a series that may not be as known or just like one you want to do like this. Like we knew what we were interested in Ratchet and Clank before, even if Conrad played it, like he's heard of it. So like we were interested in that one already going into it, and so getting an announcement, even if it didn't look fun, we were going to be like, oh, Ratchet and Clank, where that shows like a good trailer is some random IP you have no idea about, and it's like I don't know if I'm getting this, but I still am intrigued. So
yeah,
that was definitely that one. The next reveal was one by the developer Super Brothers called Jet the Far Shore. It looks like a space-based adventure type of game. It's another one of those where it looks beautiful with it. It reminds me a lot of No Man's Sky, which was a very, very, very disappointing game. But what's crazy is I went and looked it up. The developer, Super Brothers, at least when they were making some of their first couple games back in 2013, they only had 3 employees. So I don't know if they've expanded since then, but they are a small studio, and like you wouldn't be able to tell that they were based off of what Jet Farshore looked like.
It does look beautiful, but I don't have too much interest in this one in particular. But the fact that they start off with 3 people, that's impressive, very impressive. But yeah, the trailer has not captured me. But it is what it is. I mean, maybe hopefully I could be proven wrong. Maybe this is the greatest game that ever came out.
This is one of those that just doesn't have enough out yet, I think, for me. But it's like a lot of other games that I've said before and probably will say again. I want to see more before I commit to it.
For sure. And then the next reveal we had was Godfall. It's a third-person hack-and-slash game from Gearbox. This was one of the few that was actually already announced. It was revealed at the Game Awards back in December, and it was later identified as the first official game confirmed for the PS5. Gearbox has made, they're like the ones behind the Borderlands series, and they also own the Duke Nukem series now, and they put out some good stuff, but it looks like a third person hack slash.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say on that. That's not interested. Not for me.
Yeah. No, I'm not interested really.
Doesn't mean it's bad, just not for me.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just another one of those that I'm sure it'll have some nice mechanics. This developer has worked on a lot of good games in the past, but yeah. After that though was Solar Ash, which is a third-person fantasy game, and really really bright, colorful type of art design, which had it stand out. Starting to trade off with that black hole was really cool, but another weird looking one. I had in my group chat with Blake and some other friends. He said it reminded him of a game called Journey, which is a really beautiful PlayStation game that I couldn't tell you anything about why I like it besides the fact that it's good. But it does kind of give some of that as well, where it looks like just some one of those games that the experience might be something that would be like you can't explain why you enjoy it, but it is. But it's a pretty looking game. I need more information, but hey, at least it looked pretty.
Yes, it looked really pretty. I'd actually be interested in a game like this because I'm not normally interested in games like this, but this one would make me want to I'd make me want to at least try it out. I don't know if I would buy it for full price or anything like that, but no, the trailer made me interested.
Yeah, it looks pretty, but it's not really something that I would be interested in picking up.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we had the return of another series with Hitman 3 getting announced. I have never been someone who's played the Hitman series. I know that it has a fan base. Obviously, that's why they're making another one, and I'm sure there's people that when this was announced, they're like, "Oh my goodness," because they rebooted the series back in 2016, and so this will be the third entry in the new rebooted franchise. But like, it looks like Hitman.
I hate to say it again. I'm not interested in this game at all. No interest whatsoever. And I hate to have to say that for so many games in a row.
Yeah, it's like it'll probably be a nice stealth game, but like show or all the other Hitman games, it'll be cool to see that it's gonna have like locations like Dubai and all that. But
yeah. I mean, we're coming to the end of the like the beginning of any we're coming to the end of the video, and leading up to it, it's going to have some games that may not be as popular, but it's not to say that it's not a popular game, but it's just kind of one that may not, for me and you guys, it's just not something that's doing it for us. So, but that's okay.
Yeah, and then after that, we did have the reveal of Astro's Playroom, which is a successor to both the Playroom, which is a free software, I would say, more on the PlayStation 4, and then Astrobot VR, which is kind of also more of like a tech demo for PlayStation VR. And so these little bots that were in both of those, like it's kind of turned into their own type of thing. And I mean, it looks like another decent platformer type of third-person game. I'm not as intrigued as I was with the Little Big Planet spinoff, but it looks solid.
Yeah, I played the VR before, and honestly, it blew my mind. So I'd be interested in looking at this a little bit. I'd be interested in probably playing a little bit of it.
I'm a little interested. Like Luke said, it's I think Sackboy did it more for me than this one does, but the animation reminds me a lot of New Super Lucky's Tale, and like just kind of the look of everything. And it's hard to explain exactly why that is, but maybe it's just kind of the look and the color and the brightness of everything.
Yeah, it's a very bright and colorful, cartoony type of game, and then
yeah. But yeah, so I'm not really on the fence. I'm more pushed towards interested in it. But if it's either this or Sackboy, for example, I would definitely get Sackboy over this.
Yeah. One thing I did like too in the trailer is that they do seem to have a bunch of references to a bunch of PlayStation stuff. Like there's at one point right at the end where it looks like the startup of a PS2 screen. And so like that was fun, but yeah, it's pretty funny that this is basically the third Astrobot type of game that and it's from basically two like tech demos, and now getting to a full one, but it's just how well designed the little like robots are, that they've gone from being a mini game collection to a VR game to a full-fledged game by itself. So one that I'm interested in, not as much as some of the others, but it's good though to see that we are getting platformers that are kind of making a slight resurgence outside of Nintendo, because it seemed like for a while we weren't getting like any platformers anymore.
Well, for sure. I am happy to see that.
And then after that, the next game we had was Little Devil Inside, which was another just kind of one that I was just like, I do not know what I am watching here. But
yeah,
looks.
I mean, I like the animation style. Looks all right. But I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It looks. I mean, it looks like some sort of like weird, sort of cutesy adventure game, and so I'm intrigued for sure. But I want to know more, because it could be, maybe it's, I don't know. I'm definitely I'm more on the yes than no side. So I'm definitely interested in seeing more from it.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we had our obligatory sports reveal. In the Xbox One, it was Madden. In this one, it was NBA 2K21. So we had Zion Williamson of the Pelicans, and he came and talked a little about it, and then they showed just like some like in what's probably going to be a little exaggerated footage, but like every other time we get a new console reveal, the big thing to show with a basketball game is the realistic sweat. If you go back and watch videos of when the Xbox 360 was announced, it was the same thing. That was a big thing they're pushing, was look at the sweat on Shaq when he's at the free throw line. So I mean, it's going to be NBA 2K20 just with some slightly prettier graphics and cool. Like, I don't really care about the NBA 2K series. I have it on the Switch because it was $3 on sale last year, so I have 2K19 on the Switch, but I played it for like 3 or 4 hours. That's it.
I've played a 2K game before, so I've played them all.
Yeah, I've seen a basketball game played before, so I'm not really interested.
I can tell you how this game's gonna go. It's gonna look pretty. It's gonna be full of microtransactions, and it's gonna not introduce too much. It's not gonna have too many new things that wasn't in 2K20, and they're still going to charge you $60 for it. But hey, you know,
for sure.
It's going to be bought. It's going to sell decently well, and it's going to look nice. I'm sure, you know, because like the 2K games do look nice, but
Yeah.
and then after that, we had an interesting palate cleanse after Realistic Basketball Man with Bug Snacks, which just from the start with the anthropomorphic strawberry things and the talking walrus
Viva
with the
Pinata.
cowboy hats and just everything about this was just like, what in the world am I watching?
This reminds me so much of Viva Pinata. It's just like it. Everything about it was just kind of like overly cutesy and just like I don't know. It's just it was, I will say, like, it was mildly annoying to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of it went on a little too long. Like at first, like, oh, this looks cute, and then one joke I saw that it was the delayed response to Spore, that 2008 like god, like where you're basically like a god for like these different like creatures. It looks like it's like a response to that, but it came out 12 years too late.
Yeah, for sure. It
But-
even though this like looks like, from like look alone, like it looks like the kind of game that I would be interested in, the trailer absolutely did not sell it for me.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. It's at first I was interested, and then I was just like, no.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, we for sure are not the target audience. Sorry, let me speak near the mic. We for sure are not the target audience for this game.
Well, you know, it's hard to tell if this is like, you know, like a Mario kind of game, like a family game, or if this is kind of like a Sesame Street level. You know, I don't really know, but it definitely was playing. It definitely was coming across as something that's for not family level, but it's more like younger kids, and I don't know if that's necessarily what they were going for, but if so, it's, you know, not for me. So I am not 4 years old, so
Really?
really.
Yikes.
And the next it was funny. We had another little palate cleanser difference there. We had the Demon Souls remake get announced right after it. At first, I thought this was going to be God of War 2 with, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes. But yeah, Demon Souls is getting a remake. It's another From Software has made some pretty crazy stuff with the Souls series type of games. They're just stupidly hard role-playing game adventure games, and so a remake is cool because I know that there's a lot that this was a pretty early PS3 game, so there's a lot of muddier textures and just a lot that that a remake will be able to just reimagine a lot better. I know Blake will be very excited for this one because he loves Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and so it's gonna be a nice, very hard fantasy type of game.
I'm not interested. Yeah, it doesn't look like my kind of game, so, you know, yeah.
It's a game I've been meaning to get more into because I understand its popularity. That being said, I don't know. There's always a disconnect from me being like, you know, I really should, and then I end up never doing it. So I really am interested in this game. It looks really cool, but I know from my own personal track record, I'm probably not going to be picking it up. There's going to be a lot of games on here where all of these games are worth looking into, but they're just, like, realistically, I'm not going to be picking up the majority of them. This is one I want to, but I know I'm probably not going to end up looking into.
Yeah. I mean, if you live closer to Blake, I would say just like go over and see if he'll let you play Bloodborne and Souls and all that, because yeah, he loves those. But yeah, it's one that I have friends I know that are very happy about it. But yeah, I'm not like gonna go run out of the streets and get that picked up. And then after that, we had definitely another one of the more visually unique type of games with Deathloop. And so this was probably the most extensive trailer we got to see in the actual event because it was about 3 minutes long. It's a Bethesda game where you're an assassin in a time loop and you're trying to get past your rival assassin. Another one that like it looks interesting that I might be interested in. I just want to see more first, but it was definitely intriguing with its concept about how it's a Groundhog Day type of thing, or like the other game we had earlier that the name's blinking on me right now. But another one that's like cool. I want to see more first before I'm like yes, but definitely was one that was intriguing.
Agreed. This looks really interesting. I love the animation style, but I will want to see a couple more trailers, hear a little bit more reviews and stuff before I buy it. But I will say, anytime you see a group of bad guys in masks cracking their knuckles, getting ready to beat people up, that they're cannon fodder. They're never even going to be able to get their arm up to punch before they die. I thought that was a little. I thought that was a little cliche in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Or looking forward to learning more. I feel like sounding like a broken record for saying that, but yeah, it's I'm solely on the fence, or purely on the fence at this point. Like, it could go either way. So
yeah, I mean,
more.
Bethesda is one that they have a decent track record with the games that they publish. Like there's while a couple of their more recent titles with the Wolfenstein spin-off and Fallout 76 haven't hit as strong as some of the previous ones. Like they've published some solid games, and I'm sure this one will be another one. It just was also surprising that this was one of the one of the more extensive trailers we got, but it is one of the I want to say it's one of the later releases we're getting too. Oh no, this one's coming out this fall. This I got confused in another game, but yeah, this one's coming out this winter.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, this will probably be either a launch title or very early on.
If the loop is the only gimmick they have, like if that's the only thing that sets this apart out from other first-person shooters, I'm not sure it's going to be. I'm not really sure that's enough for me to want to buy it. I understand you have to. You've got this rival assassin as well, but like if you're just going to go through, like what is it going to be? Are you going to go through a group of bad guys? You're going to walk into this, like abandoned factory about to fuck shit up, and then all of a sudden you have to go beat those bad guys again that guard it. Like I wonder.
So from what I think it's going to kind of pull, kind of similar to something kind of like what like not fully, but like what you would have with the Impossible Lair for Yooka-Laylee, where it's gonna be a lot of trial and error, where you're gonna have to figure out different ways to get through and take out all the targets across the island before midnight. And so it's probably going to be one where there's going to be like artificial barriers that are up there that will stop you from doing it. The Arcane Studio, the developer at Bethesda who's doing it, they did the Dishonored game and Prey, which both have been praised for their stealth and parkour mechanics. So it's one that I'm interested in this one for sure, because like I said, this is a developer and a publisher that has had like games in this vein of things that it probably can work, but I'm not going out day one probably and buying this one unless it really wows me with some more trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And then another game that is as we're kind of wrapping up more towards the end, we only had a couple more announced. We had Resident Evil 8, which is going to be called Village. After the success of 7, getting it back after a couple poor titles of 5 and 6, it looks like the series is finding its footing again with this. And I'm not a Resident Evil fan. I know that people were happy about this. This looks like it's going to do some cool things to push the Resident Evil series forward. The series is in a good spot right now, like I said, because Resident Evil 7 did well, and then the remakes of the first couple games has also been really well received. So it's a good time to be a Resident Evil fan, looks like, but I don't care about the series. So like this one was one where it's like I'm happy for the fans, but I'm like
Exactly. I'm definitely happy for the fans. It does look interesting. I might pick this title up and play a little bit of it. I've never played a different Resident Evil title though, so I'm not sure where this is like on the spectrum of things, like what's a good place to start, and then what's a little bit harder. But yeah, this has, the trailer kept me interested enough to want to pick it up. I'm not sure if I would want to like play the entirety or like 100% the game, but I would at least want to dink around with it a little bit.
Yeah, because
I'm definitely interested in it. Like I've never really played a Resident Evil game all the way through before. Actually, there was one on the DS that I played, but the newest one, Resident Evil 7, interested me a lot. I played only about 15-20 minutes of it, and I was already hooked right from the beginning. And so seeing this trailer and knowing that I'll be able to finally buy it myself, I definitely I'm already sold. I'm for sure going to pick this one up.
I know Blake really liked Resident Evil 7 as well. The weird thing about the Resident Evil series is that, like, even though there's like there's like 10 main installments, there a lot of them are like a lot different styles. Like the difference between 4, 5, and 7 are like almost completely different games, just some of the same characters. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this does evolve, and then eventually what it'll be like when it comes out.
Yeah.
But the game then that I was thinking is like, it was interesting. They showed a lot for one that's coming from far away. Pragmata, it was the next game revealed. I have no idea what in the world this is. This looked like a weird BioShock, Death Stranding mix, like with this like little like robot girl and the
hologram
cats and the spaceman, and then on top of that too, like why show this was another one where it's just like, why show this game isn't coming out until 2022, so like at minimum we have to wait a year and a half for this, and it like we know nothing. This just looks like a weird thing to be one of the last things that we see. And it's like another one, Capcom, you have so much you can show. Like I get showing Resident Evil was a big thing to do, but like after that, like why is this one of the last things that we end on?
So yeah. But did it interest you in wanting to get, or did it not look like anything you wanted?
I just don't know what I'm looking at. That's the weird thing. Like, yeah, it looks interesting, like it looks beautiful, but what is this? Like, is this gonna be like is it gonna be like BioShock? Is it gonna be like Death Stranding? Like I just want to know what. Like the concept looks cool, but what am I doing in this game? Like besides being spaceman with robot girl.
My thoughts exactly. This looks so interesting, and I want to know more about it. This looks like a game I really could get, and like get into, but unfortunately, with absolutely no other context surrounding what we just saw, I don't know if it's like what is its style, what is the story like. Yeah, I don't know if it's something that's worth getting, but like I'm all in if we can just get more context.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to know more, but because I mean, if you're going to reveal it this early, it's got to be something that I would imagine is like phenomenal. But I mean, at this point, like Luke said, yeah, there's just not enough to know what I'm even looking at. So we'll have to wait and see.
Like if they could have had a way that they attached like if they had attached some big name developer that people know on it, like, oh, this guy's doing it, whoa, okay. But yeah, it was just like, hey, here's this weird looking game. I get that like Death Stranding just came out last fall, and like this has some weird vibes like Death Stranding did, but I don't know. And then the last game that was revealed before they announced the console was Horizon Forbidden West. It is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, which came out in 2017. It's one of those games that is also on my backlog for PlayStation's exclusive. I've heard nothing but great things about Horizon Zero Dawn, with its being this kind of future where machines overran the world, and humans have to basically get back down to their hunter-gatherer type of just like survival mechanics. And so that looks cool. It was crazy because it was it was a lot different from what Guerrilla Games previously did with the Killzone shooting series. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about the original. It came out roughly a couple weeks before Breath of the Wild, and so it'll be interesting to see like what the sequel can do as an open world game in the post Breath of the Wild world as well. But definitely one that interested me without even playing the first one.
Yeah, I played like maybe 30 minutes to an hour of the first game, and everything I'd heard, like you, Luke, was just fantastic. And I really enjoyed what I'd played. I really wish I got the opportunity to play a little bit more. But I'll see if it's possible for me to get back and play the first one before this one comes out, because I'm definitely interested, and there's a lot of people that are drawing parallels between this and Breath of the Wild. So, with Breath of the Wild and Zero Dawn coming out the same year, and then Breath of the Wild 2 having a sequel announced last year, and this one was shown. If we get more information on Breath of the Wild 2 in the next few weeks, then it's going to be really interesting to see how these two games play out, because they are so similar when it comes to the style.
Watch them both come out like within a couple weeks of each other again too. Like watch both come out in like early 2022 or something.
Yeah, like I'm definitely excited to see more about the first game, but also this one, because I want to see exactly what it is that people compare it to Breath of the Wild so much, because Connor and I are both huge Breath of the Wild fans, so to see this game, and how beautiful it looks, I can see just from the trailer what interests people in it.
Yes, this does look gorgeous. I like the way they open up with those like little hermit crabs showing off the textures and the colors of the world, and then I just really like, even though I have no idea anything about like Horizon, I've never played it. I know nothing about the previous game. This I'm sold. I'm sold. It looks cool, and that's all I really know about, is that it looks really cool. I want to play it. I wish I could go into deeper. Go into more detail with it, but I don't know. If I see something that looks cool, I want to play it.
Yeah, and I even, it was always one that like intrigued me the most with these games has always just been the design of like the robot creatures, like it's robot dinosaurs, and then this one robot mammoths as well. It's like, this is so crazy, but yeah, it's been a ton of praise for everything with it.
And I finally beat Breath of the Wild too, so this is right up my alley. 150 hours put into that game, so I can put a couple hours into this game, into Horizon.
Yeah. So and after we got that announcement and a couple of the studio members of Guerrilla Games talked, we then had a little sizzle reel of a bunch of different developers from different third-party companies like Treyarch and Remedy, Bungie, all talk, like PlayStation 5 will be a help, blah 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 blah, and then they finally showed the console. And so what are your guys' thoughts then on the popped collar or the router or whatever? What are you guys' thoughts on the design of the console?
I think it looks fine. People were comparing the Xbox to a mini fridge and the PlayStation to a Wi-Fi router or like a fan or something. I think it looks similar, but yeah, I think it looks fine.
I like it. I didn't like the DualSense design at first, and I like the console design a lot more. And yeah, I think it looks well. I like the texture that's going to be on the white part on the inside, what the lights are, and it's probably going to be a pain in the butt to clean. But I think it's a good design.
I like it a lot. I just actually heard that somebody measured it, and it's apparently I think it's almost 4.5 GameCubes tall, and that is very tall for a
it's a tall boy.
It is very, very large, and so I'm like trying to figure out exactly where I can make room to fit this.
So you can have it also on its side. So you don't have it standing up. You can have it on its side horizontally.
That's good.
It's still a long boy then, but it'll because that was one too. It's like when I first saw this, like, oh no, do I have to get a new TV stand for this? But yeah, it looks like you can put it long way and it'll be fine.
I will say,
but
the trailer, like, just show us the design. I think it was almost a minute and a half into the trailer till they actually showed the hardware.
I know. I was just like, okay, just show it. So what was funny is, I started the stream at work, And then I was driving home, and I had to go to Kroger to pick up a couple extra things for the meals we were making. And so I was sitting in the Kroger parking lot, waiting for them to finally show up so I can go in and get that. And then I also went and pre-ordered The Last of Us 2 finally. And I was just like, just show us the damn console. And so they did show it finally. And then they dropped the big surprise on us that there's not one but two PS5s coming. There's the regular PlayStation 5 that'll have a 4K Blu-ray disc drive in it, and all the same specs we've heard before with a 825 gigabyte solid state drive and all the other bells and whistles. But there's going to be a digital edition as well, so it will not have the disc drive. So similar to what the Xbox One did a couple years ago with the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, or the Xbox One SAD. And so it'll be a digital only one, so it's probably going to be cheaper. I'm gonna guess roughly $50 to $100 cheaper, so you can save that money and buy the games digitally. And then on top of that too, they showed the DualSense again, and a couple more accessories: a new PlayStation headset, a microphone, and a charging stand. And so we got to see some of the different accessories we'll be able to get with the system as well that are official, Sony ones. I will probably just stick with I'll get the media remote, I think, because having a remote for that will be good. But I don't know if I'll be going out of my way to get the camera or the headset if I can still use my Turtle Beach headset.
I'll probably be getting the disc version, probably like more expensive version, because I don't have anything that can play Blu-ray DVDs, and that would be really nice to have. But I'll be, obviously picking up a controller, and I'll probably even pick up the headphones too, because I don't have any of my own, and this is going to be the first, console with impressive sound. It'll be the next gen console for me, so it'll be nice to have that.
Have some good audio for it too, yeah, because some of these games
dimensional sound.
Yeah, because I don't have the Xbox, and I do have a Switch, but hearing the audio of Mario going woohoo is not something that needs to have headphones on.
You sure about that?
So, but I don't know. These games definitely do, so I'll probably pick up the headphones as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to be buying a PlayStation, but I would get the one with the disc drive.
You should just buy a PlayStation. I'd be a little boy.
Yeah.
Well, how about you?
It's only like
shut
about maybe $500. So.
It's only about guesstimation $500. Yeah, well, no, I personally get the all digital thing for sure. It's much easier for storage and stuff, but I like having a hard copy stuff like disc. I like having a case. Well,
the other issue, we could go on to a regular podcast episode on it. The whole issue we talked about a couple weeks ago with the Scott Pilgrim game is that a digital game. There's nothing stopping Activision from saying, okay, let's say Call of Duty 2020 was digital only. There's nothing stopping Activision from going and saying, oh, okay, we're going to pull Call of Duty 2020 from the store if you don't have it. Sorry. And so if a game you buy digitally goes away, then you're out of luck. Where if Nintendo doesn't produce any more copies of Mario Odyssey, you can still buy a used copy of Mario Odyssey, where you can't buy a used digital license of whatever game gets pulled.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just kind of before we wrap up, then, so what are your guys' overall thoughts then on some of the games that stood out? Are there any games in particular that really stood out? I know Ratchet and Clank was a big one, but if you had to pick a game or two, what would be your top two that really were I want this right now?
Ooh.
For me, I'm not going to pick two because I don't like following the rules. But my top three would be Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Resident Evil 8 Village, and Horizon 2 Forbidden West. Those will probably be the ones that I'm most looking forward to for sure.
This is hard for three of them. Ratchet and Clank is one. I'd
probably two or three. Yeah, you don't need to look for exact two. Just we don't be like, oh well, and then you name off half the games announced. So it's like, what are some that, like, if they were coming to Xbox, or if you were to buy a PS5, and like what games would you think you'd be getting day one when they'd come out, or within the first couple weeks?
Ratchet and Clank, Stray, and potentially Pragmata, depending on depending if they release more information.
Yeah. My big ones would be Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, Miles Morales. But yeah, a couple other ones that like Sackboy, and if I also play Horizon Zero Dawn first, Horizon Forbidden Forest, or Forbidden West, I mean. And so, but yeah, it's overall though, I was very pleased with what we got. Yeah, there was that lull of like 5 or 6 games in the middle that I was just like, I don't know about these, but we also got like 26 games that were showed off on this, and almost all of them were new. There was only 2 or 3 of these games that we knew about beforehand. So I was very pleased with it. I was surprised that we got to see some of these. I was really surprised with the Spider-Man reveal, and with I wasn't fully surprised with Horizon 2, but just a little bit more like, oh, there it is, finally, like, awesome. But yeah, I was pleased with this reveal, and I wish we got the price. That's really about the only complaint I have, or a release date. One of those two would have been nice, but we got the design finally, so I'm happy with that. What about you guys? Just overall, how do you then feel before we kind of wrap up this mini?
Super pumped. This was it was great. The you already touched on the information we were missing is price tag and release date. Is all we would need to make it, I think, perfect. I thought it was solid. But if you're ever releasing more than 5, 6 titles, then you're gonna have a lull of games where you're not interested. But yeah, it was everything we needed except for price tag and release date.
Yeah, I'm also really excited. It got me excited for the games, but because there's so many things that I definitely want to pick up. So yeah, hopefully in the next month or two, hopefully by the end of summer, we know both the date and price tag, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So that'll wrap up then the Rocket Talk Mini Episode 3 on the PlayStation 5 reveal stream. Like I said, hopefully in these next few weeks, as we get more information, we can find out some more. But I know I am excited to get the PS5 day one. I got my PS4 day one, and it's still the PS4 I use, and I loved it. And I remember same thing when some of these reveals were going on. It was just like, oh, I can't wait to get this. And so now that we're coming on to this new cycle, it'll be the same. So be sure to let us know your guys' thoughts as well on Twitter, on Facebook, in the comments on the YouTube audio of the video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already as well, and follow us on all of our social medias. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we have a Twitch account. You can listen to the podcast also on Anchor, and then because of Anchor, you can have it on Spotify, iTunes, and all that. So just keep listening so we can have some more of these fun minis and full-length episodes for you.